Okay, so this is an example of the Nexus 3 gate that I wrote it to like Masters 2 in 4v4. This is a 2v2 example. I'm playing as Protoss, my ally is Zerg, and we're playing against two Terrans. The two Terrans we're playing against, one of them is a 5.6k Grandmaster in 1v1, and the other one is a 4.8k Master player in 1v1. So they're a lot better than us. And but this shows how you can kind of abuse the Protoss Zerg race combination against either two Terrans or two Protosses or a Protoss and a Terran. I would not do this. You can kind of do this against another Zerg, but it's somewhat dicey because if you lose the Zergling war, your Stalkers are super vulnerable. And never do this against two Zergs because then you'll just get absolutely destroyed. So the opening is pretty standard. The main difference is I went for a 17 gas rather than 16 gas, but of course you can build the gas on 16, just don't start collecting from it until later. So it's a somewhat late gas. I do not chrono boost the Nexus ever because we don't need that many workers. This build gets like 7 Stalkers. Usually your opponent's ramp at 345. I think I hit slightly late this game. But so you're hitting not quite as hard as a 4-gate would, but you're doing it off of 2 bases. And the number of workers, you're supposed to have 30, but again, I think I messed it up this game. Maybe I had 28, we'll see. So you're aiming for like 30-ish workers, or maybe 28 workers, and 7 Stalkers at your opponent's ramp at 345. So you should really have them warped in by like 335. The proxy location that I picked here is fine against Terrans, but it's not good against Zergs because Overlords are likely to scout that location. But against Terrans, like a Reaper wouldn't normally go there just because the rocks block that path. So it's a decent location for this. So that's a very fast second gateway. It's almost kind of like Parting's Twister. This game was actually played before Parting started doing his Twister, but and there's a very delayed second gas. So I usually don't chrono boost the first Stalker unless I see a Reaper coming. You certainly can chrono boost it. The plan is to make 3 Stalkers out of your first gateway. Now let me show production. 3 Stalkers out of the first gateway, and then chrono boost 2 of them. If you chrono boost the first one, you'll have some idle time on the gateway because you won't be able to afford your second Stalker waiting time, I think. But it's fine. You only chrono boost your Cyber Core twice. Now behind this, my ally is going 3 hatcheries, and he's going to try to get to like 24 drones and 3 queens and 3 hatcheries. But yeah, I'm not going to get into the Zerg's build. There's some question about to what degree he should sacrifice his economy to get more lings early. I'm not sure what the answer to that question is, so I'm not going to get into it too much here. So yeah, I'm kind of late here. Like that last gateway must have been too late. But there we are. We're at the ramp at 345, so close enough. And so I'm going to pause here. So see, the Overlord gives high ground vision, right? So that lets me kill either Marines or a supply depot for free from low ground. And my ally can just hang out down here with Lings, and he's just making sure nothing comes in to flank me. There's no need for him to send his Lings up here and sacrifice them. This guy, who's I think a 4.8 Masters player, was at the time, he's got a lot of Marines. It's not like he was irresponsible with his build here. It's a reasonable build. I question the lack of a scout, but that's a reasonable build. This is about as many units as you can have. And here we'll see what everyone's doing. You know, they both expanded, but they're actually being pretty reasonable with their builds. This guy was rushing, I think his plan was to rush battle cruiser. Yeah. So he has fewer units than he'd like to, and this is what puts the team in some danger. So all right, we're gonna keep going here. I'm not going to watch this whole game because I'm only doing this to show the opening.
Your allies are in battle. I'm here in the shadows.
And let's active units, start units.
Let our enemy know our fury.
I intentionally left that low health stalker there, hoping he'd tank the mine hit. He got killed by the Marines first. Now here, I very intentionally send in the 1 hit point stalker because I don't want to risk that mine killing like 10 Zerglings. So I'm like, well, I'll just lose. I think it was a 7 hit point stalker. So, you know, Blue's hurt economically here. He's down to 14 workers, but we're not done with him yet. And we're kind of expecting his ally to have like made a siege tank by now and to have bunkered in. This is, I call this terrorist Terran mode, but Terrans in particular have a habit of kind of turtling themselves and letting their allies die. Part of it's because it's hard for them to fight out in the open. Like Ling Stalkers, it's just hard for Terran to fight that out in the open. Like unupgraded Marines will just die to it. So what can he do? So a lot of Terrans will respond to this by kind of turtling on 2 bases themselves and do some like late 2 base timing push. You can see like unupgraded Marines, like what can they do, right? He's just relying on like me mismicroing. At this point, his ally has literally no units. I think he has a command center flying or something. I'm not going to show the rest of this game. Let's see. Let's look at everyone's vision. So yeah, he's got a command center flying. He actually somehow macros back in this game. He harasses with Cloak Banshee. He gets some Cyclones out. He repeatedly picks off bases over here. On the right, I hang in there, but mostly get outplayed by this Grandmaster player. And we kind of fight into mostly a stalemate, and literally like at a 26-minute mark, he finally beats me and starts pushing me back. But by then my ally's got like Broodlord Corruptor Lurker, and so he comes sweeping in and he wins the game for us. So my ally carries this game. But the game's, it should be over at this point. Like you can see, it's 39 SCVs versus 67 workers. Blue is pretty much dead. And even though our tech is pretty bad and he's got battle cruisers, like Stalkers are fine against battle cruisers. And it's going to be hard for him to grab a third. Anyway, the game's over and it's a strong opening. I recommend it.